And to help us make sense of those supposed economic losses, we have Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist at RCBC, joining us this morning. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Hi, good morning, Gretchen, and to your viewers.
Okay, Mike, we lost 1.7 trillion in market capitalization within 3 weeks in August. Help us understand that, break it down in layman's terms. What is market capitalization and what does it mean to lose 1.7 trillion pesos?
Actually, Gretchen, it's a function of market forces, the share price or the stock price. It's more sensitive to market sentiment than anything else. So it's different, say, to the fundamentals of the country, the economic fundamentals. For instance, it's also different from the, say, business fundamentals like sales, net earnings. So normally in the financial markets, like they're more dynamic every day. They adjust based on, well, largely based on market sentiment, and it looks like the political noises have weighed the sentiment on, especially on the local stock market. Though if you look at the figures, well, it all started, of course, the anti-corruption measures during the SONA, July 28. So since then, the stock market has declined by about 4.4%. It reached a low of 5,905 na September 30. Now, it's a bit better already at almost 6,100. So it already improved by almost 200 points, Gretchen. So it's really dynamic. You know, why? Because foreign investors, especially the portfolio investors, they're here to, well, their motivation is to make money. That's the reason why they place their funds here. Although it's different from foreign direct investments, such as putting up factories, production facilities. This one, investment in the financial markets like stocks, bonds, and also, of course, they use the currency. So the financial markets are very sensitive because they do reflect. They're recently weighed by the political noises. But so far now, looks like the worst is over. But the thing is, it's really the signaling, because global investors, as encouraged by global regulators in recent years, they do encourage investors, actually both local and foreign, to patronage governments, countries, companies that adhere to ESG standards, meaning to say that they adhere to, or their policies are friendly, and they adhere to pertaining to, and E, that's for environment, the sustainability. Then S, that's social, human rights, friendly to people. And finally, G, governance. It all starts and ends with good governance. So the rule of law, the strong institutions of law. So those are very important. It's an uncompromising view from the point of view of foreign investment. So therefore, there's no way to go but to really improve governance standards, because people now, investors, whether retail, wholesale, institutional, they're becoming more intelligent now. They do expect countries, businesses, industries to strictly adhere to ESG standards. And because adherence to ESG standards, that signals good business.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, no, kung ngayon, dahil bumaba yung value, no, it must be that people are selling, right? So, kung bumaba, hindi po ba bibili din ng mga tao, and therefore, the effect of this is pretty much temporary? Do you see this lasting longer than it should?
And naghihintay ng resulta yung mga investors, yung mga tao. Kailangan may resulta na rule of law, di ba? Justice must be served, no? Ipapaigtingin yon. Big or small, level playing field, mahirap, mayaman, maliit, malaking individual o institusyon. Kumbaga, ano yan dapat yung elevate yung level of governance. Kasi yun timeliness din, importante yun. Di ba? Kasi kung petty crimes na paparusahan, no? Kumbaga, as the saying goes, justice delayed is justice denied, no? Kaya tinitignan talaga, wait and see. Okay, umaandar, may developments, yes, may mga investigation, yes, mayroong mga sanctions, may mga other measures na rin, no? Para yung papunta doon sa tamang direksyon na yon. Pero titignan talaga kung meron talagang resulta yung of course this is based on international best practices. Dapat consistent doon kasi marami ng kumbaga among investors may mga activist investors na rin eh. No? Talagang papaglaban nila 'yan, no? Kasi yung mga pondo na 'yan, no, bakit sila ganun ka-exacting do sa mataas na governance standards, no? Kasi kung ano yung pera yan ng alibawa, yung pera yan ng mga retirees sa buong mundo, no? Especially from developed countries. Naghahanap yan ng investments around the world, including ours, nitignan nila yan. So kung merong, kinukumpara nila yung mga bansa, kung saan mas maganda yung governance standards, yun ang pipiliin nila. No?
How safe their money is in this market. Oo. But,
go ahead, Gretchen.
But Mike, how might this be felt by ordinary Filipinos who don't participate in the stock market? Paano kaya mararamdaman ng ordinaryong Pilipino po ito?
Siguro, tama. Yung ramdam yan, yung mga investors, no? Yung mga namumuhunan. Whether local investor yan or foreign investor. Pero yung common na tao, anong impact sa kanila? No? Maaaring indirect kasi yung mga ibang maraming pension funds, retirement funds, meron din silang investment sa financial markets natin. Maaring malaki yung alokasyon sa fixed income, yung mga safer havens like treasury bonds, treasury bills, no, yung mga government securities, no. May mga safe yan, medyo sigurado yung return doon, no. Among the safest havens din yon despite the volatility. Pero meron din kasing portion, maybe smaller allocation, meron din sa equity. So it could indirectly affect din yung actuarial life na tinatawag ng mga pensyon, no. Yung mga pension fund, retirement fund. So kung kumikita yung stock market, hahaba yung retirement, hahaba yung rather yung actuarial life.
Naka-invest din. Oo.
Yeah,
sa ibang instrument. Oo.
Yeah, yung mas mahaba yung actuarial life, mas kumikita, may yung benepisyo na mararamdaman sa loob ng maraming taon, ng maraming retirees.
How about foreign exchange? I have my mom has been watching out for the foreign exchange kasi she's abroad, no? And sabi niya, ang taas. Parang pataas, inaantay niya bumaba. Is it because of corruption also and everything that's been going on in Congress?
Partly, Gretchen, mula last month, no? Kasi nag-stabilize na nga yan, mga 57 levels, no? Ganito pa nga, mga 56-90. Tapos yung kasagsagan ng political noises, umakyat yan to 58 levels, as high as around 58.40s, 58.30s, pero ngayon nag-stabilize kapon, nagsara sa 57.95. Bago kung maalala, balik tanaw natin, no? Nagsimula lahat yan, di ba, nung SONA, sinabi ng Pangulo na yung team niya, mahiya naman kayo, sinabi doon sa doon nagsimula yung anti-corruption measures and moves, no? That was July 28. Back then, it was 57.20. So ngayon, 57.95. So umakit siya na 75 centavos. Kaya medyo pumirmi dito sa 58 levels. Ang lang, kumbaga parang it just happened now, fourth quarter, mabuti na lang fourth quarter na padating yung mga remittances, no? Pagdating sa Pasko, sa Christmas season. So merong seasonal increase in conversion, yung mga dollars na dumadating from OFW sa mga pamilya nila, convert yon pang Christmas spending yon during the holidays, no? Taon-taon yon. Ayun na lang yung pag-asa natin, kaya medyo lumalakas na siya ngayon. Magmula, nagsimula yung October, November, December. Siyempre, yung mga exporter, ganun din, no? Magbebenta sila, habulin nila yung baka pag-export na sila, makukuha yung benta nila sa export, so convert into pesos, ganun din yung ibang kumikita ng dollars, no? Yung mga BPO, syempre, pang Christmas bonus din, no? Tapos yung mga foreign tourists, kasi marami rin magbabalik bayan, no? It just happened kasi, kaya tumaas din ng mga September, tail end kasi ng importation season yon. Third quarter kasi yon. To say, I've been talking to many importers for the past 20 to 30 years. Consistent yung sinasabi nila. Pagka yung third quarter, July, August, September, namimili talaga sila kasi magpo-produce sila to prepare for the seasonal increase, if not the peak in sales and demand during the fourth quarter. Whether that's for the domestic market, mag-stockpiling sila, no? Mag-produce, stockpile, daling sa warehouses, i-ship dito logistically, locally or sa export market. So medyo tail end na yun, Gretchen. Kaya medyo umakit din ng third quarter yung dollar, no? So ngayon ano na,
Okay,
seasonal
okay.
yung kita naman na yung mga
So it's not just because of this corruption scandal. It's also a seasonal effect on the forex. What other industries are you looking at that could be vulnerable?
well, siguro yung ano, well, ngayon, kasi may other factors like yung kay Trump, di ba? Yung higher tariffs, yung mga trade war, yung resulting, yung mga other protectionist measures. So, yung export sector medyo vulnerable, no? Kasi tumaas yung tariff, 19% sa Pilipinas, meaning mas magiging mahal yung exports natin. Hindi lang sa atin, pati yung mga exporter ng buong mundo. So, hihina yung demand for exports. Kaya nga, ihina yung global trade, ihina yung global investments. Well, wait and see. Sumasakit yung ulo ng mga ibang exporter, no? Kasi baka nga mangyari, mag-diversify sila away from the US, no? At magbenta elsewhere around the world, including ours. So baka magdansaan din yung ibang imports dito sa ating bansa, no? We're a net importing country kasi our trade deficit last year was $54 billion, no? Nag-record high na $57 billion noong 2022. So medyo makikinabang tayo, pero syempre yung ibang industriya, kung dadami yung imports, baka ma-threaten din yung ibang local industries natin na mag-indirect competition with these imports, no? Dahil they need to diversify away,
Correct.
Babagal yung global economic growth, tapos syempre may 1% tax rate sa US, sa remittances from the US, although sige, negligible naman yon, pero mga 8 to 9 billion pesos yun per year, what would otherwise have been diba, pinambayad sa 1% tax doon. That's yung, diba, yung One Big Beautiful Bill noon, 4th of July sinay ni Trump yun, no? That would be effective next year. So, dapat, dito na lang gastusin sana yun. So, medyo may mag-weigh ng konti. At syempre, dahil nga doon sa mga external factors na yun, minsan may ibang geopolitical risk din, diba? Yung mga developments sa, yung mga conflict sa Russia-Ukraine, sa Middle East. Although sa Middle East yan, medyo may nag-uusap na towards peace na yung di ba? Israel-Hamas. So, ayan. Pero binabantayan pa rin natin yung mga other geopolitical risks pertaining to China, no? Yung mga with Taiwan, etc. So, you may konting slowdown.
Looking ahead, how much of a drag could the corruption scandal be on growth targets for 2026? We do take note that DPWH is under government spending, and if ipinatigil yung mga proyektong ito, may epekto yan sa infrastructure spending, government spending, etc., etc. So how are our growth targets faring for this year, and how could the impact be?
Maring ihina realistically, Gretchen, kasi this is not the first time. May precedents na yan, past administrations. Pag may anti-corruption measures, anti-corruption na drive, mas maingat sila maggastos. Gusto nila above board lahat at maayos, walang bahid ng corruption. Babagal yung infrastructure spending, no? Mabagal yung government spending. Malaki yung ambag nun sa ekonomiya. So may konting slowdown. Although sige, yung iba namang nirepurpose naman at niredeploy yung funds naman. Niredeploy naman yun sa, halimbawa, social services, di ba? Yun na yung, halimbawa, sa DSWD, sa Department of Agriculture. So maring yun na mag-offset naman doon. Pero that's the reality of it. Pero parang blessing in disguise kasi lumalaki yung budget deficit kasi ng bansa natin, yung ng gobyerno, mas malaki yung ginagastos kaysa kinikita. So, that's one way to narrow the budget deficit and to slow down, kasi nagre-record na yung debt levels Siyempre, pag may budget deficit, kailangan utangin yun to finance the budget deficit. So, mababawasan yun. At nakita naman natin yun, like during the late former President Pinoy's time. Doon nangyari yung ganung bagay, no? Mula election, anti-corruption team, pinatupad nila yon. Bumakal yung government spending, yes. Pero yung debt to GDP, nag-improve naman. Bumaba yung percentage ng debt compared to the economy, no? At we got the first ever investment grade rating ng 2013 at na-sustain naman yon with subsequent upgrades sa credit rating natin. Hanggang bago mag-pandemic, 1 to 3 notches above the minimum investment grade. So, tsaka tatangkilikin yon pag good governance. Gusto yun ng global investors. Lalakas yung financial markets natin, no? Ayun ang gusto nilang mangyari. Yung resulta, no? Kasi na talaga nila, particular nila doon sa good governance, based on global best practices, lalo na, very much particular, yung strict adherence to the ESG standards sa tinatawag.
O yan po ang hinahanap nating lahat. Pero apektado raw itong high-end luxury real estate. Itong mga, may mga reports na lumalabas mga bumibili ng bahay sa mga high-end villages. Medyo may agam-agam na. May nakikita ba kayo doon?
Partly, Gretchen. Kasi
O baka
yun yung
temporary lang
allegations
din ito? O baka temporary lang din?
Kasi partly niya yung allegations, di ba, na dun china-channel yung ibang mga pondo na kaduda-duda, yung mga questionable, no? So, kaya maring well, kasi it depende do sa buyer, yung investor pool Kung talagang yung mga legitimate na buyers ng high-end, pwede naman masustain yun. Pero kung galing nga doon sa mga questionable na transactions, and yun yung team ngayon, di ba, yung anti-corruption. So, maring may konting dent. No? Let's see. We'll wait and see,
okay.
Gretchen, kung how sustainable. Kasi meron din naman mga mamumuhunan na ibang mga both local and foreign na buyers din on these high-end projects. No? Iba naman talaga dahil for estate planning purposes, etc. No? Meron din naman. So, let's see. Parang, kasi meron resilient naman yun in recent years So, but of course, despite all the allegations, wait and see pa rin kung how,
correct.
if that would make a dent, no? Indeed, di ba? Kung purely talagang yung mga legitimate na transactions and funding yung nag-channel dito sa mga higher-end property projects.
Okay. We got to remember, important to hear, good governance and results. Thank you so much for weighing in on with us on the impact of corruption to the economy. We have Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist of RCBC.
Thank you so much, Gretchen, and to your viewers.